Okay, so today we're going to work on my 77 Corvette. It's got a 350 engine in it. I'm actually taking the radiator fluid out of it right now. And I'm going to start pulling this apart because I need to replace the cam. The engine's got a tick in it. I've had it apart once already to top off and checked the lifters. And I noticed that when I was trying to adjust the lifters, the valves, I guess, whatever, one wasn't coming up very far, and this is one of the tappets, also known as a lifter, and the bottom is actually concaved right there, really bad. It's down almost 3/16 of an inch. That should be flat. So the cam's gone in it, so we're going to pull the cam out, replace the lifters. So this will be the first start on the 77 Corvette. Now it's got a 354 what they call 4-block main, 4-bolt main. It could be known as a truck engine too, I guess. I don't know. Some people say it's a truck engine, some don't know. Anyway, it's the original engine that came with this 77 Corvette. So, this is what it has on it. It's got an Edelbrock intake manifold, Edelbrock carb on it. When I got it, this is the way it came. So, we're going to start by taking the nuts off the fan here. So I'll be pulling the fan out, loosening up all these belts here. And when I get that much ahead, then I'll show you a little more. Okay, so we got the fan out. Just 4 nuts holding that in place, 1/2 inch, and lock washers. And it's got a declutching fan on it, and that's it right here. I took it out, sprayed it with spray 9, a degreaser, and washed it off. Okay, so my next step is I'm removing the alternator, and it's a 1/2 inch bolt up here for me. Don't know what else anybody else has. Down here is a 9/16 bolt and 9/16 nut on the back side. And once you get the nut and bolt off, you're going to need yourself a hammer to tap the bolt out. Some come out just by pushing them out, but this one here I need a hammer on it. And I'll show you more in a bit. So this is what I like to use on this kind of stuff. To see if you got a piece of brass stock kicking around, just drill a hole in it, put a handle on it, make yourself a nice little brass hammer. That way there you protect your threads. And then you just tap the bolt until it starts to come out. And if you need a punch, then you stick a punch on it. I think this one's going to come out pretty good. Yeah, there we go. That's all there is to that one. And it's out. Okay, now there is bushing. Some are tight, some are loose, that you gotta watch for. And it's just like a spacer, basically, is all it is. Pull that off and see if I can show you. Okay, there's the spacer right in there. And they're loose sometimes, or they're tight. But in most cases, you can wiggle it around and you can get it out. So I'm just going to set this aside right in here, so it's out of the way, and carry on to the other side, and I'll hook my air conditioning pump next, and so I can remove belts. Okay, so I got the belts loosened off, I got the pulley off. What I like to do is put my nuts and bolts, washers, everything back to where I took them off. That way there's no question as to where they belong when everything goes back together. Okay, so the next thing I unhooked was my heater hose, which is this one right here. It was hooked up over here on top of the intake manifold, and then I unhooked the pipe going to the radiator. I unhooked that off the intake manifold, and next I'm going to go on the other side there, and I've already been here, and I unhooked the accelerator, which just this little clip right here takes that off. Just pull that off and it slides out. That's it right there. And on the bottom I have a jam nut that holds the that goes to the transmission, and that's my second gear, which is called also passing gear. And I have a jam nut on there, so I just put a wrench behind and loosened it, and now it should come right off. But I get that unhooked. And I guess I'm going to have to pull my alternator out of the way. When I close the hood, it's in the way, so it's sitting right here for now. Next thing that I'm going to do is probably pull the front off the engine. We'll see when I get to it. I'll show you a little more. Okay, so I got the power steering unit unhooked. This wire right here is a ground, it just went there. Put my bolts back where they belong. I got a long bolt here which goes on the bottom. I'll be putting that back in place down there. And to try and get this up out of the way, see, she's got all hooked up here yet still. The tube going down into the cooling system, which would be the radiator on the front. Got to unhook all that. This, by the way, does not work, this air conditioner, so I don't have to be worried about pulling pipes apart on this one. Okay, so we got it out. There is a wire that you can unplug right here, if you have one. This is the wire right here, it just plugs in behind the pulley. And this one here actually goes in underneath this pressure. I think it's probably a pressure switch right there. Not sure. That's where all that goes. And I guess we'll pull the brackets off. Most of this stuff I can actually unhook it here once I get the radiators out. Pull these pulleys off, or these brackets, and then the pulleys and the intake manifold, and we're getting down. Okay, there we go. I got the air conditioning pump out of the way. Now we're going to carry on. We've got a hose right there that goes to the bottom of the radiator, and I guess that'll be next to come off.